Greetings, my friends. Welcome, one and all, once again to the World of Thaylos. As as we begin to wind up to the culmination of our story, the party is trying to find out just all the information that they can and gather all the allies they can as they lead up to the final confrontation with the Lord of Chaos. In our last episode, the party made their way to Miriam's tower once again with Master Ishak Yorman and oh gosh, I can't remember who the other one.
Not so helpful, not Ishak Yorman.
Yes, the other, the mistress, the author professor. I can't remember her name.
Mistress Hill.
There you go.
Yeah, Mistress
Hill.
Adrian Hill. There you go.
Yes, with the two of them in tow in the party, they arrived at the tower and they are finding the aftermath of their previous visit. In fact, they were able to find one gremlin, Sir Squeaks, in fact, found the gremlin and has a rather surprising encounter. And we return to that very encounter.
He laughed at me.
Yes, indeed.
My Felix. Oh no.
All right. Here at the foot of Miriam's tower, Sir Squeaks has discovered a gremlin that is sitting in a low tree. He tried to sneak up and intimidate it, but it simply turned around and laughed at him and patted him on the head. So the rest of the group is busy scaling the cliff and trying to watch out for traps that they had already discovered before, and they're looking around to see if there are any others. So, fearing that Lady Miriam might have laid more traps in the interim since they were here previously. So, we are going to move first to Sir Squeaks. And what are you going to do with a gremlin that is laughing in your face and patting you on the head?
Sir Squeaks is a pretty nice guy. He's gonna return the head pats.
Indeed. Right. Why can't I click on him? Because I'm in the wrong layer. There we go. All right. At seeing your friendly gesture, he hops happily and begins wandering around on the cliffside.
Oh no, don't fall down.
No, just wandering. And disappears into the other tree.
Gone. Out of trace.
Shaking your head at this odd encounter, you remember that they were quite greedy previously and somewhat aggressive. But he was not exhibiting any of this behavior.
Oh. Maybe they got new management.
Meanwhile, Sheik is going to be put in hammer space. All right, and in the chat window, we've got Loosefang is going to do a check. Whoa, wait a minute. Why am I scrolling? I didn't mean to scroll. There we go. Loosefang, where are you sitting? You're sitting at the base of the cliff. All right.
Yep. Just checking for any traps.
Yeah, you do not find any traps in the immediate vicinity.
Alrighty. Well, then I will slowly make my way, I guess, around the cliff face towards those steps we went up before.
All right. If you recall, right here is an archway. And under the archway, you found a skeleton of someone apparently who had fallen prey to one of the traps.
I was planning to go around the edge of the cliff.
Okay, so you're not going to go through the archway. All right?
just keep a close edge to the cliffside.
All right, Renji, I do not see you here. Let me get you into the scene. Got to make sure that everybody is where they're supposed to be. There we go. There's Renji. All right.
Well, you found a cool
So,
last time he was here.
The rest of the party is climbing up this shallow ramp that was left here by Foluco previously. And you carefully make your way to the top of the ridge and pick your way around the traps that have already been disarmed. And Renji climbed up the cliff. All right, Marcus, you're doing a search check looking for additional traps.
Yep.
All right, Marcus. Aside from the 2 spring traps you see at the summit of this cliff face, you do not find any other traps in the immediate vicinity.
All right. So once y'all get up here, carefully go around. Hold on. Let me.
Now, this one here is already disarmed. This one is not. You know it's there.
Yeah, I was about to say, carefully go around this way, around the trap.
Okay, so Renji is forging ahead. Apparently not too interested in keeping his eye out for traps. At the summit of the next cliff face, you see yet another couple of gremlins. And they seem to be quite passive.
So Squeaks waves at them.
All right. They are diminutive, no more than 2 or 3 feet tall, each of them. And they appear to be very calm, just sitting around, looking around, and at your approach, they show a mild curiosity, but nothing more.
It just reminds me of Mira when she was standing right next to the guards on one episode, and she just waves. They're confused.
So as you go past Sir Squeaks, the gremlin returns to what he was doing, which is playing with a few rocks in the dust on the cliff face. It strikes you as very odd that their behavior is so different. They were quite aggressive the last time you were here. All right, Sir Squeaks, you notice here that there were a couple of groups of caltrops that were hidden in the dust, but you were able to fly over them. All right, and Renji, as you come up here, you also notice the 2 gremlins sitting on either side of the pathway, along with a coil of metal that is in the middle of the pathway. Okay. Do you remember what this is?
It was a trap.
Well, do you remember what kind of trap it is?
It's a trap.
No.
You don't remember?
No.
Does anybody else remember what the coil of metal, what kind of trap it is?
You walk on it and it traps you.
That's,
it burns you.
that's pretty vague. There's one way to find out, or you can just simply not appease your curiosity and go around it.
You walk on it and it burns you.
Yep, okay. I see Renji is making a wise choice. Now, the rest of the group down here, we've got Nutmeg, we've got Paprika, Raylan, and Fluffles. Sir Eshak is quite eager to push ahead, and he is following the other party members. Mistress Hill is somewhat more careful as she is moving forward.
Careful, Master. There's traps everywhere.
Well, I
Yeah,
can see that, he calls down to you. It's rather interesting that The rogue would go first. He appears to be searching for traps, and I trust that he has uncovered every one of them in our path.
That's an awful lot of trust you're putting in them.
Well, there's not a lot of traps here that are deactivated. So just be careful what you touch.
Now, these stones in the floor, I assume that these are traps as well.
Yes. And so is this coil over here. Careful with how you step.
And this box, I suppose, is also a trap.
I think that might just be some items collected prior to when we were here.
Not interested. More concerned for my safety.
Now watch carefully as you go up those stairs.
Pray
Okay,
tell.
There's a plate that you step on, and they loosen. And you slide down.
So are you telling me that these stairs are not climbable? Don't you have some other way to get up?
Oh gosh. Renji!
And Renji decides to step on the pressure plate. Doing for meme, not in real life. Hey, well, I need to let you know, Renji, during the actual play session, when we are on the clock, the actions that you take are in real life. You can't do anything and say, "Oh, I was just joking."
I was
Yeah.
joking. I was
Okay.
joking. Like, do you think I really want to do it?
Well, you're not going to do that on top of Master Yorman, are you?
Well, he is the only chaotic neutral character remaining, so I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah.
Oh, another gremlin has appeared on the stairway and is simply moving down the stairs.
Careful.
Oh, that's one of the ones we heard earlier.
But he simply walks by, taking very little notice of you.
Watch your pockets.
All right. Nutmeg, Raylan, and Fluffles and Paprika, having not been here before, it strikes you as somewhat dangerous, the fact that there are so many traps around, and you're curious as to why this is.
Just who is this Lady Miriam?
I thought she was a scholar.
You'll see when you meet her. I'm sure you'll like her, Raylan, very much.
That's worrying.
Now, that's not very reassuring. So, Sir Ishak is now sitting at the bottom of the steps, very unsure of which way to go, because before him are two high cliff faces, and it appears the only way to get up is this staircase. And he's looking at you nervously, Marcus and Loosefang.
You
Okay.
wanna hop on my back? I can take you up with me.
I can walk very well on my own. I just need assurance that this staircase isn't going to try and kill me.
All right.
Oh, you know life's got no assurances.
Be careful, my boy. Be careful.
I'm gonna carefully just walk up,
All
taking
right.
note to see if I can find any other pressure plates.
All right, so give me another search check.
All right. Oh,
Marcus, you are fairly certain that there are no more pressure plates on this staircase.
okay.
Can I make a climb check to try and just climb up on the railing?
You can do that, yes. That would require a climb check. So, Marcus, you do succeed in getting up the staircase without any incident. Tentatively, after watching you do so, Sir Ishak also begins to ascend the staircase. Meanwhile, Loosefang gets up on both feet without using his hands and climbs the railing of the staircase, much to Sir Ishak's amazement and annoyance.
Right this way, Master.
Must you show off, my boy?
Well, you know I can't do it with the flute yet, so I might as well do it with my acrobatics.
Oh, if you stick to your studies, you'll get there soon enough.
Well, I've got a good teacher for it.
All right, having climbed the staircase, Sir Ishak appears to be quite a bit less nervous, and he begins to forge ahead.
I'm gonna go back down to see if I can help some of the others get up the stairs.
Very good.
You
Question.
wanna help, Loosefang? Yeah.
How big is this boulder?
Which boulder?
That's
Or
a- that's a
whatever
pressure
this is up at
plate.
the top.
This
Oh, that's a
right
pressure
here,
plate.
that is a pressure
Yeah.
plate.
Okay.
I recommend you do not step on it.
Alright, I wasn't sure if it was a boulder. I was going to try and just push it out of the way. Now,
All right.
what happened last time with the stairs?
When Renji got to the top of the stairs, he stepped on the pressure plate, and someone else was on the stairs. I can't remember who, but a gremlin tumbled down the stairs and fell right. Was it you, Marcus, that the gremlin tumbled down right into you?
No, it was Sheik actually.
Oh, it was Sheik. Okay, at the base of the staircase.
There was a dead gremlin, and he tumbled down right next to Sheik, which I think moved out of the way.
Yes.
Watch
So-
out for some pressure plates and some coils, Nutmeg and Mr. Till.
So I assume this is the way to go, says Sir Ishak as he's following in Renji's footsteps.
Well, you know what they say about that stuff, so be careful.
Knock, knock. Housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
I'm going to go and try and keep up with Master Yorman, avoiding these gremlins as best I can. Seeing as they're not attacking me, I won't make any
Nope.
actions against them.
They do appear to be watching you, but they don't. They're staying where they are.
Wait,
Okay, Renji, I need you to make a spot check.
remind me again, does the tower heal itself stone-wise, or is there still a gaping hole in the side of it?
The hole would be on the other side from where you are, so you can't tell.
Well, might as well check.
Okay, yes. Flying around, you can see that there has been some repair work done, but there is still a hole in the side of the tower, yes.
Alley-oop, let's do it.
Oh, you're going to head in through the hole.
Perks of being
All
able
right.
to fly.
Then I will put you in hammer space while the rest of the party goes in through the front door.
Do I need to make any, like, check to get past this pressure plate here?
You can go around it because it has already been uncovered. You can go around it, and you have been told that it's dangerous and not to touch it. So it's up to you if you want to try and test that. But if you don't, then you can easily walk around it.
Okay.
This is hot. Touch it. Ow. See? Now you know what hot is.
There you go. So, and the thing is, some children, you have to do that. You say, "This is hot." Oh, really? Burn.
What's hot?
Yeah, it's hot.
I had a friend that did that with his kids. He took a pail of ice cream, put it on the table, took his kids to the kitchen, said, "Here, touch this." They touched the stove. They're like, "Ow!" It's like, "That's hot." I'm like, "Here, put your hand in that." Put their hand in
Oh.
the ice cream. "That's cold." They're like, "Oh." And he's like, "Cool. Now you know what hot and cold is."
Okay, Renji, I'm going to move you back because waiting for you on the steps of the tower, you see two familiar faces. Brother Thomas and Lady Mirian are sitting on the patio of the front entranceway.
Were they there when I approached the steps earlier?
They were, but you
Oh.
were too busy flying around looking for holes.
Looking for a place to perch.
Yes. So, Brother Thomas and Lady Marian are engaged in conversation, but Lady Marian stops when Reggie approaches and she says, "Ah, so you finally arrived. I expected you an hour earlier, you know."
Misfits.
Having flown into the
No.
tower, do I notice that no one's in there?
Reggie's turn.
I say it's okay. Yeah, we're waiting on others.
And the rest of you,
They're climbing.
did you bring the rest of your friends?
They're climbing.
I see. So you pushed ahead. I hope my
Yeah.
trap didn't bother you this time.
No, don't care. Don't care for traps.
No. Apparently not. Okay, Loose Fang, can I get a spot check from you?
Yep. Let me do.
I'm going to get a spot check for Mr. Yorman as well. Okay. All right, Loose Fang, you have spotted over here several gremlins that are perched up in the tree. And they are making no effort to hide themselves, but they are up in the branches and so somewhat hidden. They are looking at you curiously, and then you are briefly reminded of a comical looking bird perching in the branches.
Mm.
At that point, Lady Mirian comes bounding down the stairs and shouts up at the gremlins in the tree. "Shoo! Get down from there. Don't be bothering my guests. Go on, get out." And one by one, they all hop down and scuttle away.
Well, that's a neat trick. Howdy, Lady Mirian. Long time no see.
Friends, please come. Please come. I've been waiting for you. I've actually been watching for you. The situation has grown quite a bit more complicated. And
Oh.
she is scanning the party, and
Mistress Mirian, may I present to you Sir Ishak Yorman?
indeed, the composer, here in the flesh.
One and the same.
And Sir Ishak, he comes up to her and he says, the Lady Mirian, I know I'm not going to ask. It is a pleasure to finally make your acquaintance. I wish our circumstances were better suited. And she looks grim, but she smiles and says, "Indeed, as do I. You are welcome in my tower, but I'm afraid you cannot stay long. Please come, one and all."
Tarek,
Yes.
by this time, has Sir Squeaks figured out that no one's in the tower yet?
Yes, he has. Except for the elemental guardians that you encountered before.
Yep.
They are still there in the tower.
Still silent and unmoving as ever.
Yeah,
He'd
well,
be like, nope.
unless you do something aggressive or destructive, yeah, they'll leave you alone.
Don't poke them.
Yeah, don't don't poke an elemental. Indeed. All right. So Marion says, "Please come one and all to my study. There, if I'm not mistaken, there is a tome that you're looking for."
I'm waiting. I'm down here waiting for Mistress Hill and Nutmeg to get up the
Yes.
stairs.
You guys are taking your time coming up, but that's all right.
Ah, cookie.
And Mirian steps around you, Loose Fang. You recall that she was injured the last time you met, but she seems to be quite whole now. And she says, "Oh, you brought several new faces. And, oh my, young lady, your mount is quite curious." And she's referring to you, Nutmeg.
Hail and well met. I am Nutmeg, and this is my steed Paprika.
Say no more, young lady. I can see your aura. A paladin from among the servant folk. Are you the first?
First that I've met.
Most unusual, and yet a hopeful sign. I'm afraid that your mount may have to wait outside. My tower is not accommodating to four-legged beasts. Is that to your liking?
I see. Well, provided these gremlins don't bother her, it should be fine.
They're merely curious now. It appears that that Venvia has left my tower, and so the whole reason for my traps put out in the first place is now obsolete. They're no more than pests now. Yes, what was that?
I'm just trying to figure out where you put the name of the book and the author in the
Yes.
character sheet so I can remember it.
Yes, did I put it on your character sheet? So
Oh yes, here it is. I pulled it up.
Good,
Got it.
you've got it. All right, Renji, you not feeling well?
Yeah, no, like I wanted to talk to whispers because theme.
Oh.
Is it talking? Is it making you feel queasy?
No, just like I have an irritating feeling in my mouth for like more than like an hour or two.
Oh, I see.
It does not go away.
So you feel like you might get sick?
Yeah,
All right. Well, what do you want to do?
I gonna quit and maybe
Okay.
recover. It's
All
not
right
that I-
then.
Well,
It's
we
not
look
that I
forward
do.
to seeing you next time.
Yeah, it's not that I don't want to. But
No, we understand.
Sorry about that.
Understandable character.
No, I hope you
So-
feel better, buddy.
thanks. See you next week.
All right.
See you next week.
Good night,
Good night.
Renji.
Good night.
All right.
So I turn to Mirian and say, Mirian, this is Mistress Adrian Hill, the Bard's College.
Well met, young lady. And Mistress Hill looks very surprised at that. Young, she says. And Marion winks at her and says, "Oh, let us not discuss age among women, but yes, you are young. Let's leave it at that." Mistress Hill looks somewhat confused, but she is, the word escapes me. She's pleasantly surprised at being called young.
She's a mom. I'll leave it at that.
Indeed. And then finally, the catfolk. More additions to the party, I take it?
Yes. More friends of ours.
Yeah.
And then Marion, her eyes grow wide as she looks at you, Raylan, and she rushes over to you.
Hello.
And then she takes your paw and shakes it vigorously, but then she cocks her head slightly, and then she looks, and then her shoulders slump, and she says, "Oh, a wizard, how disappointing. Nevertheless, you're yes, you're welcome too. And then she turns her back and leads the way into the tower.
Well, that was odd.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
All right. It's good to see you too, Mistress Mirian.
Now
Um,
she
When she passes by, I just kind of pull her to the side slightly and just say, "Sadly, we've lost Justin on our quest."
and so Marion at that she stops and she's taken aback. And she said, "In the times that I've looked and seen your party, he was missing as of late. I had hoped that nothing had befallen him, but he had simply left the party. From the look in your eyes, I take it as something different."
He he has left, just on a more permanent basis.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile,
She sighs and bows her head in respect. A good man,
He was.
and it was good of him to grace my halls for the time that he was here. I'm afraid there may be more grave losses before this is over. And she takes a determined look and again starts heading up to the tower.
I don't like the way that sounds.
meanwhile, Sir Squeaks is just chilling in the study.
You're going to meet her there in the study.
He figures they have to show up eventually.
So she calls up to Brother Thomas. Your friends have arrived. Are the mugs ready? And Brother Thomas says, "Oh, no, they're simply coming out. Just one moment. I will have them in your study by the time you reach there." And he disappears into the tower.
And I was gonna just kind of wave at him, but he quickly turned away. So I'm just kind of like, "Oh, hey, okay. I'll see him inside."
So, walking once again into Marion's tower. Let me get
Maiden
all of the
Miriam.
players over there. It's not Miriam, it's Marion. I keep getting that mixed up. I apologize.
You're good.
Well,
All right.
It's a very similar sounding name.
Yes, very similar sounding name. All right. Get to, here we are. Okay. Let me get the people in there and then I can transfer you over. So, Nutmeg, are you going to leave Paprika outside or are you going to insist that she join you?
She can wait outside for
Very well.
it's
There.
Hopefully the gremlins don't bother her.
All right. Do we have everyone? So we have Marcus, we have Nutmeg, Marion, Loosefang, Fluffles, Raylan, Brother Thomas, and I believe that covers everyone.
Make sure certain people that aren't supposed to be there aren't on the page.
Right.
Jack Yorman and Adrian Hill.
That's right. I need to bring in Sir Ishak and Adrian. So just a moment. those two.
Hello?
I'm here. All right.
Hello.
Lulu.
Oh.
Ooh, woo. Yes. All right. You have once again entered into the study of Lady Mirian. You are once again taken aback by the wonder of this place. In a central chamber lies a large crystal about 6 feet across, standing on a pedestal. Surrounding the crystal are several chairs and then rows of bookshelves. And on the floor are, as before, are books that have been opened and apparently cast aside.
Sir Squeaks is very interested in the giant circle thing.
Yes. And then on the far eastern wall, there is a large fire crackling in a fireplace. It is all rather cozy, if somewhat mesmerizing, with the sheer amount of books. Also, surrounding in various places, you see large stone statues that look to be made of obsidian, of these of large dogs. You recall from before that these dogs would they would come alive at signs of trouble. So Marion begins guiding you around the bookshelves into the central chamber. Please come and sit. I have news to share.
Sir Squeaks pokes this giant thing.
All right. It is very cold to the touch.
Mistress Mirian, we have a book that we're trying to look for.
Oh, indeed. Well,
Yes.
I have quite the extensive library here, but perhaps one of the more academic libraries would have what you're looking for. What exactly are you seeking?
We're looking for a book written by a man who's dead.
Most of them are, unfortunately.
The author's name is Nimshmalim Manifoldi Gatsperkuli. Gatsperkuli.
Gatsprunkle.
Gatsprunkle.
I know the one. Gone
Yes.
and popped off, has he? I was
Uh,
going to ask how the old bean is.
He's
Gnomes
dead.
gnomes live for a couple hundred years, you know, longer than most humans. What? I hadn't heard the old chap had fallen off. What happened to him?
The whole town in which he was living was killed by possibly one of the shards of chaos.
Back in Gurney Bay.
Yes.
Is that where the old bean had settled down? Ah, most unfortunate. So it was come through. They took the souls of the entire town, didn't they?
Yes.
And Mr. Gatssprunkle was among them.
Yes.
A loss of a great intellectual mind.
He appeared to me a little while ago, a few days ago, as a ghost, and he was trying to show me a book. It was about a history of the Lord of Chaos.
Ghosts. You've been seeing spirits, have you?
Yes.
And did he speak to you?
We couldn't hear him, unfortunately.
Out of phase, I wager.
Mhm.
That's an unfortunate side effect of many of the phantasms.
Yeah.
So, what did he show you? Did he use signs? Did he write something? I'm not really sure.
He showed me his book that he published, A History of the Lord of Chaos. And we think it might have the knowledge of how the Lord of Chaos was priorly defeated, and of information of how we can defeat him.
She scratches her chin in thought. And then she sets on an idea and she says, I might have just the thing. Follow me. Take care now. Don't touch the obsidian dogs. My pets they are, but they can be quite lively if provoked.
Note taken.
Poke, poke, poke.
Lady Mirian goes to one of the shelves.
Lady Almond just looks at the statues curiously as she cocks her head.
I'm wondering if she's going to alight on one of them. Sir Eshak has already lost himself in one of the bookshelves, happily pulling tome after tome and examining them. Mistress Hill, on the other hand, continues following respectfully, shaking her head just a bit at the eccentricity of the composer. Lady Mirian pulls a large tome from off of the shelf and goes over to a table in the corner. She places the book on the shelf and opens it before you. She opens it and slides it over to Marcus, and she says, "Is this the book you were looking for?" And you can see from the title page, it is indeed A History of the Lord of Chaos by Nimchmali Manifoldi Gethsprunkel.
Yes, exactly. That's what we're looking for.
I haven't picked this one up in several centuries. I'm afraid I've gotten a bit rusty. I may need to refresh my memory. And she begins thumbing through the pages.
He did seem rather intrigued to know the fact that I tried to be looking for his book.
Oh, he was quite the intellectual, but you know how the scholarly hermits are. They seem to be a bit odd at times. I'm sure you understand.
Somewhat, yes.
So, Brother Thomas silently walks in carrying a tray that is full of steaming mugs.
Oh, hey, Brother Thomas. Do you need any help with that?
If you could help me set up this table, and he gives you a collapsed folding table.
I uncollapse it.
All right. A small circular table is set up several feet away from the main viewing crystal. Let's see. I'm looking. There it is. Placed on the table are a number of mugs of a steaming liquid that smell quite delicious. All right. Brother Thomas, he steps back and motions to the rest of the group. Fresh cocoa for all. It is the recipe from the monastery.
Well, thank you.
Come in and rest yourselves. I'm afraid you're going to need it.
I wish Mirian.
Why do you say that?
Well-
What's this? Never.
Huh?
Oh, never mind.
Okay. So, Brother Thomas looks at you and kind of shakes his head. I have been conversing with Lady Mirian quite extensively during the time that you've been gone. We've done nothing but study. I tell you, it's been quite a delight. It's, if not for the fact that it's mostly about portents of the Lord of Chaos. The time is near. We need to figure out some sort of solution quickly. And I'm afraid even Lady Mirian doesn't have the key yet. We were hoping that you might have some additional information that we do not.
That's why we're trying to look through this book here. Maybe we might have some information as to what we should do.
So Lady Mirian, she's thumbing through the pages and she's reading several bits of text here and there, and then she flips to a much later part of the book and scans several more pages and then finds a paragraph and reads it very carefully. She sticks her finger in the place on the book, and then she looks around to the group.
What's up?
It says here that there are 3 artifacts that are capable of containing the Lord of Chaos. But those 3 artifacts are held by the 3 ancients, the dragons that have not been in this world for, well, hundreds of years.
Well, I was going to ask, do you think they're like the pendants that the dragons are in?
I beg your pardon?
And I just kind of look around at the other group, like,
Well, we
you
have
know,
Those essence things you have?
those,
If
like,
you
necklaces.
recall, the last time that you were here with Lady Mirian, Lelian, the ancient dragon, was here, but Lady Mirian was unconscious at the time because she had been injured.
yeah.
So she did not see Lelian.
Ah,
She's not aware.
Sir Squeaks continues to lick the spear.
I
Do
see.
you remember how
For
we
some
talked
reason,
about?
it tastes really good.
Okay, Sir Squeaks, if you could give me a fortitude saving throw.
Uh-oh.
Hey, it's not his fault that it tastes good.
I'm sure electricity tastes good.
Now, remember, he touched it before, and it was cold to the touch this time. Okay, Sir Squeaks, I'm afraid your tongue has frozen to the sphere.
Help!
You almost sound like the dog of wisdom.
I go over and I take some of my hot chocolate and I pour it on his tongue to help pull.
Oh, wow. Okay, it's fresh and it's hot. And Sir
Like, not
Squeaks,
directly. I'm not just gonna pour steamy hot chocolate on him.
this is going to be interesting. I do not recall, because I know that chocolate is poisonous to some mammals. I don't know if it's poisonous to bats.
Let me Google that.
But it would only be a little bit.
Also, this is a world of magic, so I'm not sure how physics in real world.
This is a dire bat, to be honest, so...
I feel like he could probably eat more than a mouthful of chocolate and not have an adverse
Yeah.
effect.
He probably has a metabolism that could eat Cincinnati. But for now, Sir Squeaks, your tongue is frozen to the sphere, and Loosefang is pouring a very hot, scalding liquid over the sphere, trying to loosen your tongue from it.
So they
Not
can
correct.
eat chocolate.
They can.
Yes. Yep. So.
Okay, so no adverse effects other than your hurt pride and a little bit of a burnt
Yeah.
tongue.
So he's like, my tongue.
I'm pouring it above on the sphere, so it should cool it down.
It's still hot.
Indeed. So, Loosefang, what were you saying to Lady Mirian earlier when she was talking about the pendants?
Well, did I get the pendant back? Does Marcus still
Yeah.
have it?
Yes,
Yeah,
you
I
are now.
gave it to
Yeah, you got it.
Then
and
I will
he gave-
take out and hold up, like, it's still on my neck, but just kind of like out from under my shirt. And
Yeah,
just,
you have Lelian's pendant. Marcus is carrying Sonriel's pendant, and Mira is carrying Golthes's pendant.
Yeah.
So,
we all pull out
Loosefang,
pendants.
you pull out your pendant from your tunic and you show it to Lady Mirian.
so
For the
like,
first time since arriving at the tower, she is struck speechless.
So
She looks between Marcus and Loosefang, and she is completely surprised. She
I pull
turns
out
to
one
the
as well.
book. She turns to the book, holds up the book, and she shows you a picture in the book. It is a dragon head pendant that is precisely identical to the ones that you're carrying around your neck.
well, at least we got a good idea what they might look like.
So, does everybody have their pendants out? and showing
Yes,
her.
even Mira, yes.
So Sir Squeaks notices this and pulls out his pendant. He's like,
Indeed.
I got one too. Look.
That's
Yes.
probably the most important one.
Yes, it is.
It
In
ties
fact,
them all together.
Sir Squeaks is holding out his pendant, and Lady Mirian looks at you a little confused, but then she grins and she nods her head. And then she turns back to Loosefang with a bit of a chuckle. So, she says, the pendants have been found and the three ancients have revealed themselves once again. This is the first bit of good news that I've heard in weeks. So then we do have something to work with.
Track these things down.
Not all good news, though.
What was that, Nutmeg?
She was just saying it is good that we don't have to take time out of our journey to track the artifacts down.
Yeah.
And so, and she turns to you, Sir Squeaks, and she says, not all good news, pray tell.
My friend ran away.
Oh, he did more than that. I am well aware of his dealings, and I have been watching him since he had his unfortunate incident.
I take it this wasn't a part of the prophecy.
No.
The three ancients were very surprised when he did.
This was not part of the prophecy at all. Even though the prophecy will still be fulfilled, but it appears there is now a seventh entity that will join in the circle of six. I do not know what effect this will have. So she turns back to the book and she begins reading again. And she starts to get excited. It says here it needs to be in a circle. The three artifacts need to be fashioned into a circle. But what circle and where?
Well,
and somehow you need to have the Lord of Chaos at the center of this circle when he is finally formed.
I might not have done too well in school, but I thought 3 points make a triangle.
And she kind of looks annoyed at a bit and shakes her head, and she says, mathematicians, nuance. The
I prefer the old aunts.
The point is, if these pendants are put into a complete circuit, then the containment circle will form. But we need to know where this is going to take place, because we could set it up anywhere. It will create the containment circle with nothing to contain.
Well,
and she scratches her head and begins to flip more pages.
Well,
I was gonna say, I don't suppose it's in any of them books, is it?
Well, this is the first book I have found in my entire library that's given us such this much information. Mr. Gatsbrunkle, I knew he was an odd intellectual, but he knew more than I thought he did.
Well,
Mr. Yorman, do you know anything about this?
Mr. Yorman is actually not in the room because he is examining her library shelves off on the upper level.
When I don't hear him, I kind of look up and look around for him.
Someone called my name. He looks over the balcony. His head just pokes over the balcony, even though the balcony is only 3 feet high.
Just wondering if you might have some information that could help with this whole end of the world thing, if you got the time.
I'll be honest, my boy. I didn't even believe the prophecies were true until last week. This is all very new to me. I'm afraid that I'm a very accomplished composer, one of the best, I'll reckon. However, as when it comes to academic studies on history and end of the world prophecies, I'm afraid you're out of my area of expertise.
Yeah, but any good musician knows a story or two.
Mistress Hill raises her hand and she says, actually, this is more in my realm. I'm much more extensively read than Master Yorman.
Well then. Might you have any pearls of wisdom to toss before us?
So, if I know my history correctly, the Lord of Chaos, his soul is separate from the 6 physical forms. And Mirian raises a hand and she says, "Oh, yes, that's correct. But his soul disappeared. We don't know where it's contained." And Mistress Hill says, "We don't know for sure, but we do know that the soul of the Lord of Chaos can inhabit any form. And so but once it takes it's a host, then it cannot leave that host until the other 6 come and form, and when it will finally be able to go into its original state. So all we need to do is find an entity that is promoting chaos." And then she scratches her head.
Well, we do have a mirror. Nutmeg.
But your mirror, it's focused on this Palfia character.
Yes.
Would it lead us to the soul of the Lord of Chaos?
It might lead us to somewhere.
If
All I know is that if it
Palpia
did
seeks out the soul.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Well, if they were in the same place, the one the mirror is tracking, then could, I guess. He's been tracking down the other shards of chaos.
Yes. And we have been seeing, the last time I looked in the mirror, I saw 3 of them together.
Yeah.
Where are the other 3?
That is a good question. Maybe let's
And
look at the mirror to see where they are traveling now.
and then Mirian, she actually butts in and says, "The soul of the Lord of Chaos, it was not able to travel. It had to stay in the place where it was destroyed." So that narrows down the search. Do you know where the actual ritual took place, where his body was separated? And Sir Ishak, he pipes up at this point, and he jumps up on the balcony and he says, now there's a legend that I remember. It's been in all the plays and all the storybooks. It was destroyed in the swamp on the east side of the Sheridan Peninsula.
That narrows
Swamp.
it down.
Swampland on that side.
And so,
I mean, that's more than nothing.
And so Mistress Hill says, but those swamps were very extensive. They took up the entire eastern coast of that body of water 600 years ago.
That's
Well,
a lot of that.
It's not the northern, western, or east or southern coast.
This is true, and Lady Mirian brings over a map to the table, and she says, "Okay, it is nice to have a number of intellectuals," and Sir Ishak actually jumps down from the balcony, finally interested in your conversation. She spreads a map on the table, and she says, "Okay, let's take a look."
Ooh, map.
Oof, that is a lot of swampland that it might
So
be.
Adrian points down to the Ondrian swamp. These swamplands are all that is left of the entire eastern coast of Sheridan Bay. She actually draws with her finger, and I'll show you. This whole eastern coast here used to be all swamplands until it was drained and settled. This part to the south turned out to be a delta, of the river over here. And so it turned out to be too marshy to drain. And so it was never settled. But this entire area over here was settled into a more civilized area. If I recall, that's where Gurney Bay is.
Well, no one lives there now. The whole town's gone.
And then she turns to you again, Marcus, and says, wait, Gurney Bay, the entire town was gone. How were they taken? Do you know any details?
Remember when we brought, what was his name? Kid's name. Why did I forget his name all of a sudden?
Jonathan.
Samuel. Remember when we brought Samuel?
The child, yes.
He mentioned that event that happened. All those souls from Gurney Bay were taken onto a ship. And there they disappeared.
Sir Squeaks pipes up. I wasn't there, but the girl became the dragon, the kid became a dragon, and you found the dragon in a necklace in the cave? All over there, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So what are you saying, Master Bat?
I don't know, I lost my train of thought.
What's interesting was that the last time we saw Thaylos or whatever it is.
Sir Squeaks isn't too used to being able to think properly. He's still getting used to it.
Sorry, go ahead, Marcus.
The last time we saw Pylos and the other Shards of Chaos, they were traveling north. They weren't traveling south towards the swamps.
No. North. North from where?
They were traveling north from Port Sheridan.
Indeed. And then Ishak jumps up on the chair and he says, of course. And he puts his hands on his head. Of course. The shards. They're not able to go on open bodies of water. If they wanted to get to the eastern shore, there's only one way. They have to go up and around the bay.
But of course. What?
That's why they're going north. They're trying to get to the eastern side. So what's over there? Some podunk village, if you'll forgive me for saying so, and shipping ports. Nothing really big to speak of. You guys were over there. What did you see?
What?
I don't remember much of anything of interest.
And Mirian says, we don't need to do all of this. Please. I have a way to see. Now that we know what we're looking for, she places both hands on the sphere, and you see ice begin to form over her hands until they are welded to the sphere.
Sir Squeaks approaches like, no, don't touch it. It's cold.
Yes, it is. She smiles down at you and then returns her vision to the sphere. Marcus, you might want to see this.
I walk over to see.
All right. So, Mirian, the vision in the sphere swims and shifts, almost causing you to blink your eyes in order to avoid getting a headache. And you see the vision zooming in. more landmarks in that area. And down here, a fishing village. We can rule out the sanctuary. It's not on the coast. But the other three are close enough that they could be one of the places. You say Gurney Bay was the place where the people were taken and loaded onto a ghost ship. And the ghost ship, where did it go? Did you see where it went?
It traveled further south, over towards here, near Port Sheridan, where we lost track of it.
Over to the port.
Yes.
It was okay. So then the source must be in that area. Either in the manor, or in Gurney Bay itself, or in the cave system to the south.
In the cave system to the south is where we found Gothas's pendant. In essence.
All right. Now you have my undivided attention. Where did you find it?
In these caves to the south of Gurney Bay.
And did you see anything else in the caves?
A deep ditch. A interesting kobold.
And a book.
Kobold?
Yeah.
They're vermin like the gremlins outside. How can they be interesting?
This one was rather intelligent.
Mhm.
And a book.
She begins to look concerned. Intelligent how?
He was speaking in common.
Yeah, there's that.
You can tell the gears in her mind are spinning.
Did he ever say his name? I can't remember if he introduced himself. He did seem to like the sound of his voice.
So if I might, and this is out of character because Sir Squeaks was not there. Faluco got the book from the study in which he was being tortured in the cave, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And he wasn't so much being tortured as he was being studied.
Yeah, but only he saw that. The rest of the group didn't see that.
So the question is, did Foluco tell the rest of the group about that?
Well, yeah.
We know he did?
Yeah, I mean, that's how he got the book, and y'all all know that's how he got the book.
I didn't think we knew how he got the book. I thought we just knew that he had the book.
Yeah.
We didn't know how he got it.
Did we?
He did reveal that he got the book when he was being held captive in the study.
Okay. Do you remember that screaming book that our friend Foluco, well, not Foluco anymore, had? We also found that screaming book here at the beach cavern.
So that's where the scriptures came from. That naughty boy brought them into my tower, and I promptly burned them, if you recall.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they came from. And Mistress Hill, she gets excited, and she actually pokes her finger onto the map. That's got to be it. An intelligent speaking kobold, the scriptures of chaos, and the pendant of Gothos found in the very same cavern. That's a nondescript cavern system on the eastern coast of Sheridan Bay. There's nothing special about that place. Why would we find the scriptures there along with an intelligent kobold? That's got to be our best lead. And Brother Thomas says, so are we going to head back that way? I would very much like to revisit the sanctuary. Father Kearns has surely found his way back by now.
I'm not sure if Father Kearns probably has been able to get back over to the Sanctuary of the Life Mother. He's probably still over in Port Sheridan.
Oh, it's been several weeks. He may have taken a boat back. He is aged. I mean, he's getting on in years, but he is still quite resourceful.
Right.
I trust that he's found his way back home.
Mm-hmm. Well, who knows? But I do have a feeling that we might need to go back over to Port Sheridan to find some allies if we are to try and fight the Lord of Chaos, or find a way to stop him over here.
And Adrian shakes her head. No, you can't fight him. You must get that out of your head, my boy. You cannot fight him.
Not with that attitude.
The best you can do is to contain him.
There's
To
nothing
trap him.
There's nothing a few fireballs won't fix.
And she looks over at you with a glare, Raylan, and she says, "Wizards," and shakes her head.
Okay, now I get it. I get why she doesn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm mostly just messing with you. I don't plan on trying to go mano-a-mano against this bad dude.
Here's the point. If we can find where his soul is contained, then that is the place where the six will converge eventually. What we must do is get to that place first and form the circle. Your pendants are the key. Now, allow me to look in one more place. Let me see if I can get to there. Just a moment. She again looks in the sphere, and the vision swims once again.
Oh, hey.
There we go. I got to make sure I've got... Adrian says, "Do you know this place?"
Yes. I believe this was the first encounter we had. This is where we found Renji, actually, at this cage.
Yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
They were like giant crabs.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh.
No, the nightmares.
This is the place. And could you point to where you saw this creature, this kobold?
Oh, where was he? Yeah, around that area.
Yes, right around here somewhere.
I'm sorry I can't be more help.
Oh, no, yeah, sorry, this was before your time. Well, I mean, not like in general, you might already have been born. I mean, makes sense, I don't think you're that young. Not calling you a child or old either. I'm just saying, before the time of meeting up with our group.
This was only
understand.
several months ago when you were here. Even though it's been more than 2 years since our campaign started.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the familiar area where Jock, your original friend, was killed by kobolds, where you found Renji in the cage, where you were tormented by a seemingly intelligent talking kobold, and the deep dark pit that you all had to cross before you were able to find the statue of Gothas and get the pendant. This is definitely the place. And Adrian and Mistress Hill both say together, this is where we need to go. We need to find that kobold and find out if it really is who we think it is. And we need to get there before the six do.
So, something
Wait a
else.
minute.
Who
So
do
we're
you
saying
think
that
it is?
kobold might have been the big baddie?
I'm not saying that that's the case or not, but that's the best lead that we have.
So, I'm not sure if...
Fair enough.
You're what?
So after the event with the kobolds, by the way,
Yes.
I went back to the episode in which it happened. The staircase down to the study.
Yes.
After everybody was done with the kobold chieftain, Faluka was the only one that actually went back down in there. So he's the only one knows that there's more hallways down there than just the study.
Yes. There actually is more down there, but Fuluko was not permitted to explore the area.
Slimes. Scary things at the time.
Indeed.
Yep.
So both Mirian and Mistress Hill are fairly excited now. We have a place. This is our best guess yet as to where the six are going to converge. But now we need to figure out what it means to create the containment circle. And
Maybe there'll be a place in there that we can just sort of place the pendants in or something.
well, they need to be arranged in a perfect, and then she pauses and looks straight at you, Loosefang, triangle, if you will.
Or you might even say a circle.
But when they are placed in that perfect triangle, then somehow the containment circle will form. I might be able to help with that. I could create the generators. I'm going to need your help, Marcus. And unfortunately, Raylan, I'm going to need your help as well. We need arcane casters.
Haha. You
I
can't
know
get
a
rid
bit
of me.
magic.
Do you now?
No, wait, no. I was kidding.
And I take out a little pebble and make some light, show I'm right, and all that other good stuff. And the rock glows.
Marion, she looks delighted as a teacher watching a student succeed, and she says, "Well done, young one. I thought that you were more the fighting type. Carrying that staff around and bonking people on the head, and here you are making a light spell. I'm proud of you."
Well, I'm used to making people see lights. Just this way, it's without hitting them first.
So any arcane casters that we have, I'm going to need you to help me to make the generators. The rest of you, keep a hold on those pendants, and I suggest you keep tracking this Palthea character. Find out where he's going, because if you follow him, you'll know where the rest of the six are.
Master Yorman, are you gonna help be a generator?
I'll have nothing to do with your futuristic fiddle faddle. Thank you very much. I'm here to study. I am not here to take part in your suicide
Saving
mission.
World?
If you ask me, the Lord of Chaos, the six shards, I didn't even think they existed until last week, and then the display that was put on in the amphitheater that we saw back then. No, thank you. I'm not going to participate. I'm only here for the studies. You're going to have to find some other type of ally, I'm afraid. Call me a coward if you wish, but I'd like to keep my skin.
Well, I'm just gonna say, if we end up pulling this off, I'm expecting a very favorable song from you. I want it glowing about our exploits.
You bring me the head of the Lord of Chaos, and I will write you an entire symphony. You have my word.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Oh boy.
So Mistress Mirian detaches her hands from the sphere and comes over to warm them by the fire for a moment before continuing. This is going to be a difficult process. We're going to need to create 3 pedestals, each with the crystal heart. This will supply the power and the energy to create the containment field. Do
I
any of
don't know
you
if I've learned that spell yet.
do any of you have the continual light spell?
No.
Mira might.
If I time it right and you blink, then yes.
All right.
Otherwise, no.
This
My
may be
staff
tougher
of
than I
light
thought.
can last for around 10 minutes.
What was that?
My staff of light. Or, it's not staff, it's I can't remember.
Divine spells?
Yes.
And she actually scratches her head.
She's
And
pretty good at them.
She considers for a moment. And then she looks at you, and then she looks at her own hands. And she seems to be considering even very deeply. Could it work? Could it work? And she walks again over to the book. And then she turns and she in a huff she says, "No, you're talking about combining 2 completely different sources of power. One divine and one arcane. It can't be done."
I'd imagine that Lord of Chaos is probably not going to be expecting that.
It's never been done. Is it possible? And then Brother Thomas turns to her and he says, "This is what I've been trying to tell you this whole time. The 2 sources of power, they are actually linked." And Mirian says, "No, don't you get in with that religious fiddle-faddle again." And Brother Thomas says, "No, listen, you have to listen. There are 2 sources of power, and they actually come from the same source." And Mirian shakes her head. "I've been alive for over 1,200 years, and I've never seen anything to that effect. How could you possibly know this?" And Brother Thomas says, "Because I am open to both religion and arcane. Where your mind is closed to belief in the divinity." And Mirian shakes her head and she says, "I'm a scholar. I'm not a theologian." Then Brother Thomas comes over to her and puts his hand on her shoulder and he says, "Then would you kindly trust me just this once?" And Mirian comes over and sits down in her chair, clearly disturbed and thinking. Brother Thomas walks over to you, Nutmeg.
I feel like if it could give us greater power, greater odds of defeating the Lord of Chaos, it's worth a shot.
You don't have much else to go on.
I
My
mean,
dear-
the question is, will it hurt?
"My dear, you are preaching to the choir," says Brother
Oh,
Thomas
she doesn't like choirs.
with a chuckle. "You are an enforcer for the Lady Orleana, are you not?"
Of course.
"I've always wanted to meet one of you, and one so young. How did you get your appointment?"
How does that work in this world?
Yeah.
I don't.
Go back to your backstory. Remember what it was?
Okay. Well, I was saved as a child and by the Life Mother, and priests found me, and that's when my training began.
And how
I've
old
been
were
in
you?
the service ever since.
And how old were you?
When all this happened? Oh, did we lose Nutmeg?
No, I'm just trying to find my backstory.
Oh,
Sorry, I put you on the spot. While all this is going on, Mistress Hill is looking back and forth between Lady Mirian and Nutmeg and Brother Thomas, and she steps between you. And she says, the paladin is right. We have to combine both intellect and faith. It will require both.
That mean what the prophecy was saying earlier? May I look back at the prophecy?
Yes. In fact, it's contained here. And she returns to Master Nimshmali's book. On the first 3 pages, you go back and you read the prophecy. Chaos was sundered. Chaos was undone. And yet chaos was not destroyed. The time will come when the 6 shall form once again, and those who stand against it must seek knowledge of old, or the world will be plunged into chaos. I'm afraid the prophecy is rather vague on that point. Knowledge of old. You might assume that that only means intellect, but knowledge does not only cover the arcane and scholarly studies. And Brother Thomas pipes up. Yes. Knowledge of history, knowledge of religion, knowledge of the planes. That is all forms of knowledge that have nothing to do with the arcane.
knowledge of a good joke.
And yes, knowledge of jokes, I suppose.
I mean, you never know.
Are we doing a knowledge check?
No, what Brother Thomas is doing is he's pointing out the fact that knowledge does not mean only scholarly pursuits. And what he's looking edgewise at Mirian to see if he is convincing her at all, and she still seems rather disturbed. Master Ishak at this point comes over and actually prods Lady Mirian on the shoulder. And he says, "My lady, for as old as you admit yourself to be, perhaps you have missed one of the basic lessons." "And what might that be?" replies Mirian. "Why, being open. Accepting the fact that all knowledge cannot be contained in a single source. Accepting the fact that perhaps you don't know everything. Begging your pardon for as much as you've studied, and you probably have even written a large number of these books before us. But might I suggest that you don't know all?"
The containment of the shard of pride has really humbled you, Sir Ishak.
Jealousy it was, my boy, but you do have the correct point. Although I must admit, when it comes to music and concert composition, I have not met one that knows more than I. Though, is there more that I could learn? I suppose in some far part of the world there might be.
Right. There's other tunes or rhythms that you probably have never even heard before.
I know I've played a few of them.
I've always been curious as to Aeolian scale tuning that's not very popular in these parts. But that's another matter. Mistress Hill turns away from the book. It also says here the ones who will challenge the Lord of Chaos must come from all walks of knowledge.
Does that mean a bard?
What it means is that you can't expect an army of wizards and sorcerers to be the only thing that stands against chaos. There is order to be found in all things. There is order to be found in industry. There is order to be found in nature. And there is order to be found in unity.
So what you're saying is knowledge from every single person.
That's precisely what I'm saying, young one.
Both divine and arcane?
Lady Mirian looks over the group. She sighs and bows her head. It seems that I've been outvoted. Brother Thomas, do you know a continual light spell? And he says, indeed I do. And I would be happy to assist in forming these generators. Lady Mirian shakes her head in disbelief, and she says, very well then, to my lab. But first, you, young one, I have a gift for you. And she turns to you, Marcus.
I was going to say, you're going to have to be more specific, young one. We're all pretty young here.
At this point, having made it to Lady Mirian's tower, and having gained the knowledge that you have, and discovered the potential location of the form of the Lord of Chaos, has given you enough experience to level up. And so, we are going to level 8, everyone, except Fluffles is going to level 7, because he's a level behind.
That's fair.
And the specific thing that I wanted to do for Marcus at this point is Mirian. She leads Marcus over to the center of the tower at the base of the stairs, and she beckons for Marcus to join her. I told you before that the blood of dragons would affect your future, did I not?
Yes, you did.
What I meant was that in the line of sorcery, there is a specialist path that you can take, where you become the disciple of the dragons. What it does is it adapts your arcane casting to a more draconic nature. And what it does is, as you progress, you begin to adapt some of the aspects of dragonkind yourself. Eventually, those who become true dragon disciples will become covered in dragon scales and eventually grow their own set of dragon wings and become powerful casters, while at the same time having their skin hardened like dragon scales. Quite an effective warrior for dragonkind. That is a path that lies before you, but it is yours only if you choose to take it.
I look at my paws in shame. I believe if this is something that I must do, I must...
Shame, my boy?
Remember how I told you about my village? I believe
Indeed, I do recall.
there that must need to be right.
and you wish to right the wrongs of your past.
Yes.
And have you not been given the power to do so?
I have. The Life Mother has given me that option to do so.
The power is within you, and so do not let shame hold you back. If you know what you must do, and the path is laid before you, then shame will only slow you and inhibit you. You must leave it behind. Once your purpose is clear, then determination must be your only goal. Do not be ashamed of your past, and do not be ashamed of something that was beyond your control. You will right this wrong. And if you will accept the path of the dragon disciple, I can bestow it upon you at this time.
Yes, I will accept that path. If
Let it
will
be
a way
so.
to lead my people and a way to help my friends in any way I can.
Let it be so. So, Mirian ascends the stairs and disappears for a moment, while the rest of you, meanwhile, need to be. Do you want me to give you the pages in the player's handbook so that you can level your characters up to 8?
I've got mine.
You've got yours, okay?
Can
So
you
I
say
need
mine again.
those of you who have multi classes. I need to know what your choice of class is as you level up.
Yes.
So I think you already know the characters that I have is Sorcerer and Rogue.
That's right. So, as a little explanation, Marcus, the Dragon Disciple is what's called a prestige class.
Okay.
It requires that you reach a certain level as an arcane caster, and then you can actually you become the new class. So it actually becomes a third class,
Mm-hmm.
and then you start gaining levels as a Dragon Disciple.
Okay.
What was that?
So what
Oh,
it's
I meant
called
nutmeg.
yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay,
Did you say something, nutmeg?
look that up. All right. All right.
You send a link to me of the casting of spell or the spells
Sure.
that I need.
Yes. So just a moment. I'm going to post in chat in Roll20 chat. Okay, there's your link for the Dragon Disciple.
Okay.
All right.
I got it. Thank you.
All right. And then Loose Fang, you wanted to level up as a monk, or you want to get another level in Bard?
I'm checking real quick. I've got the book with me, so I can level up my character.
Sounds good. All right. Anyone else? Do you want to multi-class, or can I just safely assume that you want to level up in your chosen class?
Yeah, I'll level up in my chosen class.
Okay, Raylan will go at level 8 sorcerer, Fluffles, level 7 monk.
Wait, level 8 wizard.
Sorry, yeah, wizard, not sorcerer. Yeah.
Yes.
Mirian is not very pleased with your choice, but she can't stop you.
Ah.
All right, Sir Squeaks. Let me look at your character sheet. Level 7 fighter. So you're going up to a level 8 fighter. Okay. Who is ready to roll hit points?
I'm ready.
Okay. Then let's go, Marcus. As a dragon disciple, your hit dice is a D12.
D12.
Okay, so Dragon Disciples get very high hit dice. So Sir Squeaks, a 9 out of 10. Very nice. Let's hold on to that person. Do you want to go ahead and update your character sheet,
Yep.
Sir Squeaks? Okay.
Really?
No, you get at least a 6 or better, because I always give them half, at least. So go ahead and re-roll that, Marcus. 11. Fantastic. To go up 11 hit points in a single level. That's awesome.
Can I I'm just gonna do the level up on my own. Is that good?
All right. Yes. You roll a d6, Raylan.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
All right. So you go from 34 to 45 hit points, Marcus. Very nice.
Yep.
All right. Dragon Disciple at level 1. You get 2 extra fortitude saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put that in. So let's see. Sorry, I hit escape. I wasn't supposed to do that. So 2 fortitude. So your fortitude saving throw is now 4. All right. And you get a natural armor increase as you start growing dragon scales.
Okay.
I think
So
I'm gonna go for monk.
So you're going to go for a level of monk?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's my hit dice that I got.
Okay. Natural armor bonus. Let's put in Dragon Disciple natural bonus. So you get 1 for that. Right. So your armor class, Marcus, is now 21. Very nice.
Nice.
All right. And you get 1 bonus spell as a Dragon Disciple. Oh, wait. Oh, you also get +2 on your will saving throw. I missed that.
Do you want me to turn the stream off, or is there more story?
Yeah. Do we want to continue streaming if we're just leveling up?
Probably don't really need to.
Yeah, we probably don't. That's okay.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead and stop the stream, Marcus.
Not Marcus.
I'm sorry, Foluca. Blah.
Okay.
Got to get your names right.
Yeah.